Now, from the news team that's covering the Carolinas, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning.
Drivers will soon notice a big change along this busy Northeast Charlotte road. The new traffic pattern drivers will start using today as crews get ready to open the completed I-485 loop next week.
A family rushed out of their home when an apartment building caught fire overnight. A neighbor's effort to help them escape and what firefighters say caused the fire. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Eric Phillips.
And I'm Allison Lattis. We have traffic and weather every 10 minutes, and we start with meteorologist Keith Monday with our first forecast. We saw that fog early this morning, but has it all burned off yet, Keith?
Well, mainly just low clouds out there across the city now. Great visibility heading into work down at road level, but you can see the low clouds chopping off the tops of the uptown skyline buildings. Some sunshine is mixing in with those clouds so far today, but we'll see more sun as we work our way to this afternoon. Already warming up. We're close to 70 in Charlotte at 68. Same for Chester. It is 70 over into Rockingham as the numbers are warm, and we're looking ahead to a steamy start to the day. The morning drive, though, all quiet, just some low cloud cover in place. Upper 70s by 11 as we gain some sunshine. Mid-80s are back in place for this afternoon. We'll show you the Futurecast timeline here in a moment. How while there is a rain chance today, not everyone is going to see the downpours. Now let's get back to Mark, see where the traffic is still slow this morning.
Yeah, we got big problems for 85 this morning up north of Charlotte, coming down from Kannapolis towards Concord, where 11 miles per hour has traffic slowed as you approach exit 58 towards 29601. That's causing some major backups, which you can see indicated from Lane Street all the way through the accident scene, which you could take a lane over to Main to 73 and then jump on to I-85. You'll get around all that congestion. And then an accident, it's causing delays in both directions of 485, but it happened on the inner loop between Fairview and Lawyers Road. If you plan a trip in the area from Mint Hill, you use Highway 51 and then jump back on 485 from Lawyers. Have an accident with injuries up to the north on Statesville 21 near Westmoreland Road. That's also causing delays. You can use 115. The interstate, of course, also very heavy coming out of Cornelius with just the congestion to deal with. Allison.
Drivers on a busy Northeast Charlotte road will see a major change in the traffic patterns today.
Crews will open the diverging diamond on Mallard Creek Road as part of the I-485 completion project. Eyewitness News reporter Stephanie Quinn is live on Mallard Creek with the looks. Stephanie.
And Eric, I just checked in with NCDOT officials about when exactly they're going to open up this diverging diamond. They told me they're not exactly sure, but are going to be getting back to me. Meantime, taking a look, you can see some of these small little white strips, and crews here at the scene actually tell me they're going to be spray painting those lines because there has been some confusion with drivers this morning. Meantime, you can also see those orange cones right here, which have traffic taking a look, still going straight through this intersection. Once they move those barrels, though, drivers are going to have to bear left through that intersection, and you can actually see some of those new signs up above pointing them, reminding drivers to bear left. We also have made this graphic for you to give you another view about what this new traffic pattern is going to eventually look like. Crews have already installed diverging diamonds in Concord and Cornelius, and they say this actually makes it safer for drivers because now they'll be able to get directly onto I-485 instead of having to wait and turn left. Coming back here live, you can see that sign for I-485 is covered, and crews are not going to be opening those ramps until next week, and that's when the final segment of the outer loop opens. Of course, we will continue to check in with NCDOT officials and let you know when this diverging diamond does open. In North Charlotte, I'm Stephanie Quinn, Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning.
Stephanie, thank you. Overnight, an apartment fire forced a family out of their home in East Charlotte. This was the scene on Village Green Drive off Milton Road around 12:30 last night. Neighbors made sure everyone got out safely.
We had a loud knock on the door, and a young lady was outside screaming, saying the apartment was on fire. So we came out and seen it was like a line of flames.
Firefighters say an electrical problem started the fire. Everyone except for one family was allowed to go back inside.
Students at North Mac High School are going to class today mourning the loss of a classmate who drowned in Mountain Island Lake. The 17-year-old rugby player was swimming with friends at Latta Plantation in Huntersville yesterday. Channel 9 spoke to a witness who said she noticed the first sign of trouble shortly after the teens got into the lake.
Later, I can hear very far somebody say help, but I think it's a plane. And later I see the police come.
Officials have not released the teenager's name. It took divers about 3 hours to find his body. They're still trying to figure out what caused him to drown.
A York teenager accused of setting a fire that killed his baby brother will be in court for a bond hearing today. Matt Morgan collapsed during his preliminary hearing earlier this month. Police say he set 2 fires in his mobile home in March, then walked outside and watched the home burn with 14-month-old brother inside. Family members say Morgan has autism and would not have hurt his brother. New this morning, Mecklenburg County won a big grant to help cut down on the number of people in jail.
The MacArthur Foundation will give the jail $150,000 to come up with other ways to deal with suspects. Eyewitness News reporter Tina Terry has more.
Yeah, that Chicago-based group has pledged to bring more fairness to the justice system. It wants the Mecklenburg County Jail and about 20 others across the nation to use the money to brainstorm alternatives to incarceration. It says about 12 million people pass through jails every year nationwide. Many of them are nonviolent offenders or mentally ill. Now, jail administrators here in Mecklenburg County are working on a plan to use that money. We are contacting them, reaching out, trying to find out how they'll use it. We'll bring the latest to you when we receive it. Reporting from Uptown Charlotte, Tina Terry, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, Tina, thank you. 8:06, a Charlotte woman accused in a murder-for-hire plot will go to trial in 2.5 weeks. Investigators say Faisha Ann Davis tried to hire someone to kill her ex-husband. Earlier this week, we told you that prosecutors filed claims alleging it's not the first time she tried to have him killed. Her attorney denies those claims. Jury selection will begin June 15th. The woman accused of abusing a baby at a Charlotte daycare isn't speaking out about her arrest. Rebecca Wilt Jackson's attorney told us she's upset about it. Jackson made her first court appearance yesterday on the felony child abuse charge. Police say that she abused a 5-month-old girl she was caring for at the Easter Seals daycare on Marsh Road earlier this month. A spokesman for the daycare said Jackson is no longer working there.
8:06, Charlotte city leaders are talking about potential candidates for police chief as they prepare for Chief Rodney Monroe's retirement. Last night, the mayor and city council met privately about the search. They told us the person selected for the job must have full support from them, the city manager, the police department, and the community. The city manager wants to hire internally. Chief Monroe will retire July 1st.
This afternoon, Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton will be in South Carolina. It's her first visit to the state as part of her 2016 campaign. She'll meet with minority women, small business owners in Columbia and speak to the State House Democratic Women's Caucus. Channel 9 will be in Columbia for her visit and will bring you updates on Twitter all day and on WSOCTV.com starting at 5 o'clock. Republican presidential candidate Carly Fiorina will also be campaigning in South Carolina today. The Weekly Standard reports the former Hewlett-Packard CEO will talk to state legislators at the Capitol and then go to an event in Spartanburg. Former Pennsylvania Senator Rick Santorum will announce today whether he will run for president again in 2016. He was the Republican runner-up in 2012, but is placing low in the polls this year.
8:08 is your time. Family and friends will gather this weekend to say goodbye to a former Monroe mayor and councilman. Philip P. Bazemore died Monday. He served the city from 1981 to 2009. Bazemore also helped develop the Monroe Corporate Center, the Aquatics and Fitness Center, and the revitalization of downtown. The city says it will remember him as a principled man, not afraid to do what is right.
Today, emergency crews will help make sure that everyone is prepared for the possibility of a hurricane. It's all part of North Carolina Hurricane Preparedness Week. Crews will explain what needs to be in an emergency supply kit, what paperwork families need to have if an emergency happens, and how to prepare pets to be evacuated. The Atlantic Hurricane Forecast is due out later on this morning.
This morning, members of Boone-based Samaritan's Purse are sending people to Texas to help people from recovering from severe flooding. A disaster relief team in San Marcos. In the area alone, more than 350 homes were destroyed, many others damaged by floodwaters. Volunteers will help homeowners clean up and remove waterlogged belongings. That'll also spray for mold. We'll have much more on this historic flooding ahead this morning, coming up in about 30 minutes. The efforts to find more than a dozen people still missing as the first of the victims is laid to rest. Time now for a check on your forecast with meteorologist Keith Monday in Severe Weather Center 9.
We're starting off our morning with some low cloud cover just spreading on in this morning, and that's all due to the moisture left over in part from last night's rainfall, which was nice to see. It had been a long time coming to get just any rainfall to move on through. It about 30 days since we had that much of a measurable rain. So the midweek steam is holding on. The downpours, they could be heavy at times, but widely scattered today. And not everyone's going to see the rainfall, unfortunately. And then the focus this weekend is just mainly going to be on the hot weather hanging on. I'll show you how high we get and how close to 90 we could be sitting for those weekend plans. First, though, let's check in with Mark, see what's happening for the drive.
Dealing with some accident scenes this morning in both directions of the 85 is slow, as well as on 485 southbound. We had an accident right around 29601 that was causing these backups for folks coming out of Kannapolis and China Grove. In fact, right now it's a 22-minute ride coming down from China Grove towards NC 73, which is part of your alternate route. Take 29 or Main Street to 73 back to the interstate. 485 also seeing the delays in both directions. We had a crash between Fairview and Lawyers Road. Check it out. We're seeing a lot of delays in the inner and outer loop, but it happened on the inner loop. From Mint Hill, take Highway 51, and then up towards Cornelius on 21. We've got a crash near Westmoreland Road. It's causing major backups. Use 115 as I-77 also slow in the area. Allison?
A local teacher fighting for his life after suffering a brain injury.
Lord, if you will, would you bring healing to our brother's body?
The accident that put him in the hospital and the prayers his students say they've already seen answered.
A child predator operation exposed a growing epidemic. The technology detectives say suspects are using to find and solicit children.
8:14 is your time. A live look from our Hickory cam shows we've got some low-hanging clouds this morning, looking a bit hazy out there this morning. The temperatures climbing right now up into the 70s. Meteorologist Keith Monday will let us know if we have a downpour chance today, and then also when we're really going to see those temps fly to around 90. Detectives tell Channel 9 they expect even more arrests after more than a dozen men were busted in an undercover sting that targets child sex predators.
We reported Friday a former police officer, nurse, and even a teacher faced charges. Officers now have a new operation underway headed by Detective Brent Hebner.
Because this is an epidemic. These suspects are everywhere.
Police are taking the suspects' cell phones and using new technology to scan them. They can find deleted pictures and activity the suspect tried to erase.
It's 8:15. Police in Longview seized a large amount of meth during a license checkpoint stop involving a stolen motorcycle. Thad Crawford is locked up on $150,000 bond after being charged with trafficking meth. Police say they found 5 ounces of the drug along with cash and a gun this weekend. Investigators estimate the meth has a street value of more than $15,000. The Red Cross is helping a family this morning after fire broke out at their West Charlotte home. Firefighters say when they arrived, they saw heavy smoke and flames coming from the home on Ridge Avenue yesterday afternoon. 4 adults and 1 child were in the home at the time, but able to get out. It's not clear what started the fire.
Today, people will rally against a bill that would limit how employees allowed to conduct undercover investigations at work. Protesters outside the North Carolina State Capitol will be blindfolded and have their mouths covered. Critics say the so-called ag-gag bill threatens consumers' right to know what happens on poultry farms and fast food restaurants and more. Supporters say it protects business owners from rivals and against activist groups. The bill has been on the governor's desk for more than a week. He has not said if he will sign it.
Even though the federal government may be tracking your cell phone, a new report suggests it can't keep track of its own phones. The Government Accountability Office reviewed cell phone use for 15 federal agencies. Most agencies are not keeping tab on who actually uses the phones, how many phones they're paying for, and whether the plans are the best deal. The agencies all pay different rates for plans totaling more than $1 billion.
Each agency needs to manage the program to make sure that the cell phones are being used for the right purpose, but also they're getting the biggest bang for their buck.
Plans and rates vary among agencies from $21 a month per line up to $122. Auditors found only the Defense Department adequately tracks workers' cell phone usage.
New this morning, a Florida-based company is now dropping its lawsuit against the state of North Carolina over treasure from Blackbeard ship. Intersol Incorporated filed suit for $14 million, claiming the state violated its contract by showing artifacts from the Queen Anne's Revenge without a time code stamp or watermark. Time now for a check on your forecast. Meteorologist Keith Monday in Severe Weather Center 9 has details on how the temperatures will soar.
Yeah, they'll get there eventually once we get rid of this blanket of cloud cover that's moved in here this morning. It's not going to be with us all day today, but we'll start to thin out more as we work our way toward this afternoon. So a bit of a gray picture to begin this early Wednesday. As we head our way to this afternoon, though, we'll get back into that sunshine. We're already at 70 in Concord, Chester, and out of the southeast in Chesterfield. We're 66 now in Charlotte, still 59 out the door of Boone. So increasing sunshine today, but then this afternoon as we heat up in the mid-80s, scattered downpour chances start to arrive. We'll be looking ahead to a few more downpours, mainly focused in two spots. Mostly into the mountains and then far southeast to Charlotte. You'll see by midday those clouds are thinning out. There are the two spots of rainfall between Lancaster, Wadesboro, Rockingham, and then back up in the mountains as per usual this time of the year. Your heat of the day downpours move in. So Charlotte may end up being sandwiched in between these two downpour chances, but very close into the metro as we head into this evening. Bigger thunderstorms likely developing off to our east today, but anything that does fire up, well, it won't be widespread like we saw last night. Heavy rain, lightning will be the two primary threats. Some slight increase in the wind threat for today. Some gustier thunderstorms could be rolling on through as we head toward the late afternoon and into the early evening. But into this weekend, that's when things begin to change. We start talking more about just the heat, the humidity coming up for the Take Steps Walk for Crows and Colitis, Freedom Park, 3 o'clock on the Saturday afternoon. It's going to be hot and muggy with highs closer to 90 as we head into Saturday. The rain chances are starting to go down. Mostly an issue of just mountain downpours coming in for those weekend activities. We'll see those mountain downpours firing up today. We stay in the mid-70s, about 80 down through Lenore and Morganton. Same for Hickory, Conover, Newton to Statesville at 82. Salisbury, China Grove around 83. We'll see a scattered downpour chance up north here this afternoon. Same for Charlotte. Not everyone's going to get the rain, but those that do, an intense downpour for sure. We're at 84 with Gastonia, 83 Shelby up in the Lincolnton, and hottest down south in the mid-80s. Heat index feels like 90. Many of those thunderstorm chances could be centered across the southeastern corner late this afternoon. So our 5-day forecast, the weekend's always in view. We'll keep the mid-80s going into Friday, but notice the percent chance of rain goes down. By Saturday, most of us are pretty rain-free, but not free from the heat and the steam. Closing in on 90 as we head our way through this weekend. Now let's get you back out on those roads with Mark Taylor. Where's the current trouble at?
Now we got three big problems north of Charlotte with a lot of fender benders here in Mecklenburg County, and we've got an accident also to the east. It was involving also a fuel spill on 45, the inner loop between Lawyers Road and Fairview Road. You can see both directions though affected, so avoid 485 whether coming or going towards the Mid-Hill area. Use Highway 51 as an alternate route. And then we had an accident on 85 southbound. It was near 29601 near exit 58. Check out the line of traffic coming down from Lane Street heading south from China Grove and Kannapolis. You get off at Lane Street, either take 29 Main Street over towards Highway 73 back towards 85. And then we had an accident on Statesville Road. This is going to be just south of Westmoreland Road that was causing delays in both directions of 21. 77, not a good alternate route. You're going to have to use 115 to get around it. Eric?
After receiving nominations from across the Carolinas, Channel 9 has spent weeks narrowing down our list of Big 22 players to watch. This high school football season, this year's group is talented, diverse, and competitive. Watch Eyewitness News at 6 when sports anchor Phil Orban reveals who is on that list and will also post the list on Facebook, Twitter, and WSOCTV.com. Two students will face a judge today accused of plotting a senior prank that forced police to evacuate an entire school.
It got out of control, I guess.
The everyday item police say the two teens placed in a locker, bringing bomb-sniffing dogs to campus.
Dozens of students out sick again at a local elementary school. What workers are doing to try to prevent a possible virus from spreading. And here's a look at the winning numbers from the North Carolina Education Lottery and last night's Mega Millions drawing.
Health officials say it could be up to a week before they receive state lab results identifying what caused students and staff to become sick at a Union County elementary school. 174 people, mostly students, did not show up for classes Friday on an end of grade testing day. Yesterday, 45 students were still absent. Union County's health department thinks the fast evolving illness is a virus.
We really do not know what the genesis of it was at this point.
What if it happens again? We need to know what's going on.
A school district spokesperson told Channel 9 an environmental health team supervised workers as they thoroughly cleaned the school over the weekend.
8:25, we just checked, and so far people have raised more than $130,000 for a local pastor and his wife after both of their children died in a crash. Troopers say Hadley Eddings and her 2-year-old son Dobbs were stopped at a red light Saturday when a box truck driver slammed into the back of their car. The little boy was killed. Hadley was 8 months pregnant. Doctors performed an emergency C-section, but the baby later died at the hospital. A GoFundMe account has been set up for the couple. If you would like to donate, we have posted a link to that on WSOCTV.com. You can look for it inside the story on our homepage.
President Obama is urging the Senate to extend key provisions of the controversial Patriot Act before the law expires on Sunday. A House bill would get rid of the NSA's bulk data collection program and leave other surveillance programs in place. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell wants to keep the Patriot Act as is. Senators won't get back to work until Sunday, the same day the law runs out.
Just ahead, what investigators say the MS-13 gang is doing differently now that creates a bigger threat to the community. Get a complete summary of today's major local news on Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 10 tonight on TV 64.
And as we head to break, here's a live look from our Charlotte cam. Some cloud cover overhead. The sun is peeking through and this cloud cover will burn off.
At 8:27, still pretty cloudy out there this morning, but we're already warming up close to 70 in many neighborhoods around Charlotte. We're still at 66, 61 now for Boone and up into Jefferson. We will gain more sunshine as we head through the day today, putting us back in the mid-80s, staying muggy, of course, and a few more downpours on a scattered basis. Not everyone gets the rain today, but it will be a bit of a downpour chance coming in for today and tomorrow. But thereafter, we dry up heading into the weekend as a little more of that early summer, late spring heat moves in.
A York teenager accused of setting a fire that killed his baby brother will be in court for a bond hearing today. Matt Morgan collapsed during his preliminary hearing earlier this month. Police say that he set 2 fires in his mobile home in March, then walked outside and watched the home burn with the 14-month-old inside. Family members say Morgan has autism and would not have hurt his brother. Good Morning America continues here on Channel 9.